The auditorium at Crest Hill High hums with anticipation, the kind that makes your skin prickle, and I'm sitting here, 6 rows back, trying to keep my focus on my son, Micah. Tonight's his night, his moment to shine in that crisp navy blazer he spent an hour ironing this morning. My daughter Nora fidgets beside me, her small hands clutching a single daisy we grabbed from the gas station on the way, her feet swinging because the chair's too tall for her. I'm proud, so proud, watching Micah up there with the other kids, his shoulders squared like he's carrying something heavier than just a high school awards ceremony. This is about him, I remind myself. Not the divorce, not the years of arguments, and definitely not her. I'm here for my boy, to see him get the recognition he's worked so hard for, the kind of thing that makes a dad's chest swell. I adjust my tie, feeling a little out of place among the polished parents with their expensive watches and murmured small talk. Nora nudges me, whispering about how Micah practiced his walk across the stage in the living room last night, and I chuckle, picturing him pacing back and forth, muttering to himself. The lights dim slightly, the principal steps to the podium, and I lean forward, ready to clap louder than anyone when they call his name. It's just us tonight, me, Nora, and Micah's moment. Nothing else matters. At least, that's what I tell myself until I feel a prickle on the back of my neck, like someone's watching me. I turn my head, just to glance across the aisle, and there she is. Riley, my ex-wife, sitting there with Spencer, her new husband, both of them looking like they stepped out of some glossy magazine spread. Her hair's perfect, her dress probably costs more than my monthly rent, and Spencer's got that smug grin, his arm draped over the back of her chair. I didn't expect her to be here. Well, I did, but I'd hoped to avoid her. Our eyes meet for a split second, and I give a polite nod, the kind you offer a stranger you don't want to offend. She smirks back, sharp and knowing, like she's already won some game I didn't know we were playing. My stomach twists, but I force myself to look away, back to the stage where Mike is waiting. Nora's still talking about the flower, asking if Micah will like it, and I nod, my voice steady as I tell her he'll love it. But Riley's presence lingers like a shadow, pulling at memories I've spent years trying to bury, late-night fights, her telling me I'd never be enough, the way she'd roll her eyes when I talked about Micah's dreams. I shake it off. This isn't about her, I repeat in my head, gripping the armrest a little tighter. The principal's voice crackles through the mic, starting the ceremony, and I focus on the stage, on the kids lined up, on Micah's nervous half-smile as he adjusts his blazer. Nora swings her feet again, and I put a hand on her knee to still her, whispering that we need to be quiet now. She giggles, and it's enough to ground me, to remind me why I'm here. I'm not here to dwell on Riley or Spencer or the life that fell apart. I'm here for my son, who's about to walk across that stage and make me prouder than I've ever been. I scan the program in my lap, skimming the list of awards, wondering which one Mike is getting. He's been tight-lipped about it, just said it was something cool with that shy grin of his. I'm guessing it's academic, maybe math or science. He's always been a whiz at both. The first kid's name is called, and polite applause ripples through the room. I clap too, but my eyes are on Micah, watching him shift his weight, his hands clasped in front of him like he's trying not to fidget. He's nervous, I can tell, but he's holding it together. That's my boy steady, even when the pressure's on. Nora leans against my arm, her daisy drooping a little, and I smile down at her, telling her to sit up straight so she can see better. The auditorium feels warm now, the air thick with expectation, and I'm starting to relax, starting to feel like maybe tonight will go smoothly. Maybe I can get through this without letting Riley's smirk or Spencer's presence crawl under my skin. Maybe I can just be a dad, cheering for his kid, nothing more, nothing less. The principal calls another name, and I clap again, my hands moving on autopilot while my mind stays on Micah. He's worked so hard for this, stayed up late studying, pushed himself even when things at home, both homes, got messy. I'm not perfect, never claimed to be, but I've tried to be there for him, to show him he's enough, no matter what anyone says. And tonight, I'm here to see that effort pay off, to watch him shine in a way no one can take away. The stage lights glint off the trophies lined up on a table, and I imagine Micah holding one, his face breaking into that rare, full smile he saves for the best moments. That's all I want tonight. Just that. The auditorium at Crest Hill High is alive with applause as Micah's name echoes through the speakers. Outstanding academic achievement. My heart surges, and I'm clapping so hard my palms sting, grinning like he's just won gold at the Olympics. He stands up, his navy blazer catching the stage lights, and starts his walk to the podium, his steps careful but proud. Nora's bouncing in her seat beside me, whispering that she knew he'd get something big, her daisy waving like a tiny flag. I'm so caught up in the moment, so focused on my boy, that I almost miss it, the sharp, cutting voice slicing through the cheers like a knife. It's Riley, my ex-wife, sitting across the aisle with that polished smirk, saying something I wish I hadn't heard. He's just like his dad, always second place. My stomach drops, heavy as a stone, and before I can process it, Spencer, her new husband, leans in close to her, his chuckle low and mean. Good thing his looks came from his mom, he adds, like he's been waiting all night to land the jab. The words hit me like a punch, but worse, I see Micah's back stiffen mid-step, his stride slowing just enough to tell me he heard them too. I freeze, my hands still raised to clap, but they hover there, useless, as the noise around me fades into a dull roar. My boy's up there, supposed to be soaking in his moment, and instead, he's carrying the weight of his mother's careless cruelty. I glance at Riley, hoping maybe she didn't mean it, but she's sipping her drink, casual as anything, like she didn't just tear into her own son's soul. Spencer's still chuckling, his arm slung over her chair, and I want to storm across the aisle to demand what gives them the right to talk about my kid like that. But Nora's right here, her small hand tugging at my sleeve, asking why everyone's so loud, and I can't make a scene, not with her watching, not with 100 parents holding up phones to capture their kids' smiles. Micah reaches the podium, his certificate in hand, but his face is wrong. No smile, no spark, just a tight-lipped nod as he shakes the principal's hand. He's trying to hold it together, I can see it, but his shoulders are hunched now, like he's shielding himself from something heavier than disappointment. My chest aches, a deep, gnawing pain, because I know what he's feeling. Those words weren't just about this award, they were about him, about us, about everything he's tried to prove he's not. I want to shout that he's not second place, that he's more than enough, but my voice is stuck, trapped behind the lump in my throat. I look at Nora, her eyes wide and confused, and I force a smile, telling her to keep clapping for her brother. She does, her small hands smacking together, but I can barely hear it over the blood pounding in my ears. Riley's voice keeps echoing in my head, sharp and dismissive, and I can't shake the image of Micah's hand rising to his face as he walked, wiping at his cheek like he could brush away the sting. Did he cry? My boy, who's always been so strong, so steady, did her words cut that deep? I want to believe he didn't hear, that he's fine, but the way his eyes flicker toward the crowd, searching for something, tells me otherwise. I lean forward, willing him to look at me, to see that I'm here, that I'm proud, that he doesn't need to carry her words. But he's staring at the certificate now, his fingers gripping it too tightly, and I know he's fighting to keep his composure in front of everyone. The applause dies down, and the principal moves on to the next name, but I'm still stuck on Micah, still seeing the way his stride faltered, the way his hand moved to his face. I glance at Riley again, hoping for a hint of regret, but she's laughing at something Spencer's muttering, her head tilted back like this is just another night out. How can she do that? How can she sit there, tearing him down, when he's up there trying so hard? I think about all the times she's dismissed him before. Forgotten birthdays, missed recitals, promises broken because Spencer had a better plan. I've always tried to make up for it, to be the one who shows up, but tonight, her words feel like they've undone everything I've built with him. Nora's voice pulls me back, asking if Mike is happy, and I don't know how to answer. I tell her he's proud, that he worked hard for this, but my voice sounds hollow, even to me. I'm angry, angrier than I've been in a long time, but it's not just Riley or Spencer. It's me, too, for not seeing this coming, for not preparing him for how cruel people can be, even the ones who are supposed to love you. I want to protect him, to wrap him up and take him home where no one can hurt him, but he's not a little kid anymore. He's up there, facing this alone, and all I can do is sit here, 6 rows back, clapping for a moment that's been tainted. The next kid's name is called, and I clap again, my hands moving on instinct, but my eyes are locked on Micah as he heads back to his seat. His head's high, but there's a stiffness to him, like he's holding himself together by sheer will. I want to believe he's okay, that he'll shake this off, but the way his hand brushed his cheek keeps replaying in my mind, and I know this isn't over. Not for him. Not for me. The auditorium feels suffocating now, the air thick with the hum of murmurs and the occasional burst of applause, but all I can see is Micah up there at the podium, clutching that certificate like it's a lifeline that's fraying fast. His face is blank, no trace of the grin I'd hoped for, and it's killing me to watch him stand so still, so silent, like he's carrying a weight no one else can see. I want to jump over these rows, grab Spencer by his pressed collar, and wipe that smug laugh off his face for what he said about my boy. Riley's words, calling Micah second place, like he's some kind of disappointment, keep clawing at me, and I'm burning inside, my fists clenching until my knuckles ache. But Nora's right here, her small hand resting on my arm, her daisy drooping in her lap, and I can't let her see me lose it. Not with all these parents around, their phones out, filming their kids' proud moments while mine's up there hurting. I force myself to breathe, to sit still, but it's like trying to hold back a storm. Mike is not moving, just staring down at that piece of paper in his hands, and I know it's not about the award anymore. It's about what he heard, what his mom said, what it's done to him. I glance across the aisle, and there's Riley, laughing at something Spencer's whispering, her drink tilted like she's at a cocktail party, not her son's ceremony. How can she be so careless? How can she not see the way Micah's shoulders are slumped, the way his eyes are fixed on nothing? I want to believe she didn't mean it, that it was just a thoughtless jab, but I know better. She's always been like this. Sharp when she's feeling superior, quick to cut down anyone who doesn't fit her idea of success. And Spencer, with his slick grin and his arm around her, he's just egging her on, like tearing into Micah is some kind of sport. My jaw tightens, and I have to look away before I do something stupid, like shout across the room and make this night even worse for my kid. Nora shifts beside me, her voice soft as she asks why Mike is not smiling, and I don't have an answer, not one I can give her without breaking her heart too. I just pat her hand, tell her he's probably nervous, but the lie tastes bitter. Mike is not nervous, he's wounded, and I'm sitting here, 6 rows back, powerless to fix it. The principal's voice drones on, calling another name, but I'm barely listening. My mind's stuck on Micah, on the way he slowed down when he heard those words, the way his hand brushed his cheek like he was hiding something. Did he cry? The thought twists my gut, because my boy doesn't cry easy, not anymore. Not since he was little and I could scoop him up and make it better with a hug. He's 16 now, too old for that. But I'd give anything to be up there with him, to tell him he's more than enough, that he's never been second place to me. I scanned the crowd, wondering if anyone else noticed, but they're all clapping, smiling, lost in their own kids' moments. It's just me, seeing the crack in my son's armor, knowing I can't patch it from here. Then something shifts. Micah's head lifts, and his eyes search the room, moving over the sea of faces until they land on me. For a second, it's like he's checking if I'm still here, if I saw what happened, if I care. I nod, just a small one, trying to pour everything I feel into it, pride, love, anger at what they did to him. His gaze holds mine, and I see a flicker of something, not quite a smile, but a steadiness that wasn't there before. He straightens up, his grip on the certificate loosening, and when he speaks, his voice is soft but clear, cutting through the auditorium's buzz. This isn't the real award, he says, pausing just long enough to make everyone lean forward. That comes later. The room goes quiet, a few people shifting in their seats, and I'm caught off guard, my heart pounding because I don't know what he means, but I know it matters. His words hang there, heavy with something I can't quite name, and I'm proud but also scared, because he's not just talking about tonight, he's talking about everything, all the doubts, all the times he's been made to feel less than. Riley stopped laughing now, her drink frozen halfway to her lips, and Spencer's leaning back, his smirk gone. They hurt him too, and I hope it stings, hope they feel the weight of what they've done. Nora tugs at my sleeve again, asking what he means, and I shush her gently, my eyes locked on Micah as he steps away from the podium, his certificate still in hand but his head higher now. He doesn't look at his mom or Spencer, doesn't give them the satisfaction, and I'm glad, because they don't deserve it. The principal clears his throat, moving on to the next award, but I'm still stuck on Micah's words, replaying them in my head, wondering what later means for him. Is it another award? Something bigger? Or is it something deeper, something about proving them wrong? I don't know, but I trust him, trust that he's got a plan, a strength I've always seen in him, even when he doubted it himself. The applause starts up again, but it's distant, like it's happening in another room. All I can think about is my boy, standing up there, refusing to let their words break him. I want to tell him I'm proud, that he's already more than they'll ever understand, but all I can do is sit here, clapping for the next kid, waiting for his real moment to come. The auditorium's still buzzing with applause for the latest kid at the podium, but I'm barely here, my body stuck in this chair while my mind's spiraling somewhere else entirely. Mike is back in his seat now, his certificate folded carefully in his lap, but his face hasn't softened, not like it should after a moment that big. His words from earlier, about the real award, coming later, keep echoing in my head. And I'm proud, so proud, but there's this gnawing ache too, because I know what he heard from across the aisle. Riley's voice, calling him second place, like he's some kind of runner-up in his own life, still burns in my chest, and Spencer's smug chuckle only made it worse. I'm gripping the armrest so tight my fingers hurt, trying to keep it together, because Nora's right beside me, her daisy limp in her hands, her eyes darting between me and the stage. I can't let her see how much this is tearing me up, can't let her feel the anger that's boiling under my skin. But it's there, hot and sharp, and all I can think about is the last time Micah came home from his mom's place, his eyes red and his voice barely above a whisper. They say I'm soft like you, he told me, sitting on the edge of his bed, his math book open but untouched. I'd sat next to him, told him strength isn't about being loud or mean, that being kind in a world that's cruel is a power most people don't get. He'd nodded, but I could tell it didn't sink in, not then. And now, here we are, with Riley's words slicing into him all over again, in front of everyone, on a night that was supposed to be his. I glance at her across the aisle, hoping maybe she's feeling some kind of guilt, but she's whispering to Spencer, her smile sharp as ever, like nothing's wrong. Spencer's nodding, his arms still slung over her chair, and I want to storm over there, to ask how they can sit there so calm after what they said. But I don't. I can't. Not with Nora watching, not with Micah up there trying to hold himself together. My mind keeps slipping back to the divorce, to all the things Riley said when it fell apart. She called me spineless, said I lacked ambition, that she needed a real man. Spencer, with his flashy car and his marketing firm, was her answer, someone who fit her idea of success. But he doesn't know Micah, not really. He wasn't there for the late-night math homework, the scraped knees, the times Micah cried because his mom forgot to show up for his birthday. I was. I've always been there, picking up the pieces, trying to show my boy he's enough, even when she made him feel like he wasn't. And tonight, her words weren't just careless, they were cruel, aimed right at his heart, and I'm kicking myself for not seeing it coming, for not shielding him somehow. Nora's voice pulls me back, soft and worried, asking why Micah looked sad when he walked back to his seat. I swallow hard, tell her he's just tired, that it's a big night, but my voice sounds thin, like I'm trying to convince myself too. She nods, but her eyes don't leave the stage, and I know she's picking up on more than I want her to. I look at Micah again, and he's sitting straight now, his jaw tight, like he's holding back something bigger than tears. It reminds me of myself at his age, trying to be strong when the world felt like it was crumbling. I want to go to him, to tell him he doesn't have to carry this alone, but he's up there with the other kids, and I'm stuck here, 6 rows back, clapping on autopilot as another name's called. My mind keeps drifting to all the moments I've tried to be enough for him, coaching his little league games, staying up to help with algebra, teaching him how to tie a tie for tonight. I thought I was building something solid, something he could lean on, but Riley's words make me doubt it all, make me wonder if he still feels like he's coming up short. I shake my head, trying to push it away, because doubting myself doesn't help him now. He needs me to be steady, like I've always been, even if I'm raging inside. The principal's voice cuts through my thoughts, moving on to the next award, and I force myself to focus, to clap when everyone else does, but my eyes are on Micah. He's not looking at his mom or Spencer, not giving them the satisfaction, and I'm glad, because they don't deserve it. But he's not looking at me either, and that stings more than I expect. I want him to know I'm here, that I heard what they said, that I'm proud no matter what. I think about what I told him that night he came home crying about kindness, about strength, and I hope it's still in there somewhere, holding him up. Nora shifts again, her daisy brushing against my arm, and I realize she's been quiet too long. I lean down, ask if she's okay, and she nods, but her voice is small when she asks if Mike is mad at us. It's like a knife to the chest, because she's feeling this too, picking up on the tension without even knowing why. I tell her he's not mad, that he's just thinking about his award, and she seems to buy it. But I hate lying to her, hate that she's caught in this mess. The auditorium feels smaller now, the applause louder but hollow, and I'm counting the minutes until this is over, until I can get to Micah, tell him what he needs to hear. But for now, I'm stuck here, watching my boy tighten his jaw like he's bracing for a fight I can't see, and all I can do is hope he's stronger than the words that tried to break him tonight. The auditorium at Crest Hill High feels like it's holding its breath as the principal steps back to the microphone, his hands cradling a sealed manila envelope like it's the key to something monumental. I'm sitting here, 6 rows back, my heart still pounding from Micah's earlier words about the real award coming later, and I'm trying to focus, to shake off the sting of what Riley said across the aisle, calling my boy second place, like he's less than he is. Nora's beside me, her daisy now tucked behind her ear, her small hands folded in her lap, and I can feel her watching me, sensing something's off even if she doesn't know what. I want to be present for Micah, to cheer him on like I promised myself I would, but Riley's voice and Spencer's laugh keep looping in my head, and I'm fighting to keep my anger from spilling over. The principal clears his throat, and the room quiets down, every parent leaning forward, phones ready to capture the big moment. I adjust my tie, trying to ground myself, but my eyes are locked on Micah, sitting up there with the other kids, his certificate still in his hands, his face unreadable. He's been so steady tonight, despite everything, and I'm proud, but there's this knot in my gut, like something's about to shift in a way I can't predict. The principal smiles, tearing open the envelope, and his voice booms through the speakers. This year's valedictorian is Micah Rowan. For a second, the world stops. My breath catches, and I blink, stunned, like maybe I heard it wrong. Valedictorian? My boy? The room's silent at first, just a few murmurs rippling through the crowd, then gasps, then a wave of applause that feels like it could lift the roof. I'm on my feet before I realize it, clapping so hard my hands burn, a grin splitting my face because this is what he's been working for, what he's earned. Nora's standing too, bouncing on her toes, shouting his name even though I tell her to hush, and I don't care if anyone's staring because my kid just did something incredible. I glance across the aisle, and Riley's face has gone pale, her drink forgotten in her hand, her mouth half open like she can't believe it. Spencer's stopped mid-laugh, his arm frozen on her chair, and I hope they're feeling it. Every word they threw at Micah tonight, every jab about him being second place, I hope it's hitting them now. But I don't linger on them long, because this isn't about them. It's about my son, who's standing up now, slow and deliberate, like he knew this was coming all along. There's something different in the way he moves, a steel in his spine that wasn't there before, like he's shed a weight he's been carrying for years. He walks to the stage, his blazer catching the lights, and I'm so proud I could burst. But there's this ache too, because I know what it took for him to get here. Not just the grades, but the nights he doubted himself, the times he heard he wasn't enough. I think about all the hours we spent at the kitchen table, him puzzling over calculus while I made coffee, telling him he could do anything if he kept at it. I thought I was just being a dad, but now, seeing him up there, I realize those moments built him into someone who could stand tall even after his own mom tried to cut him down. The principal hands him a plaque, shaking his hand, and Micah nods, his face still serious, but with a spark in his eyes I haven't seen all night. I want to shout, to tell everyone in this room how hard he worked, how he deserves this more than anyone. But I just keep clapping, my throat tight with something that's not quite tears but close. Nora's tugging at my sleeve, asking what valedictorian means, and I lean down, tell her it means her brother's the best in his class, the smartest, the strongest. She grins, clapping louder, and I wish I could freeze this moment, keep it pure before anything else tries to tarnish it. I look at Micah again, and he's scanning the crowd, not at Riley or Spencer, but past them, like they don't matter anymore. His eyes find me, and for a second, it's just us, like he's checking if I'm as proud as I feel. I nod, hoping he sees everything I can't say, that he's more than I ever dreamed he'd be, that this moment is his, no matter what anyone says. The applause keeps going, louder now, and I'm caught up in it, in the way the room feels alive with his victory. I think about what he said earlier, about the real award coming later, and I wonder if this is it, if this is what he meant. But something tells me it's not, that there's more to come, something bigger than even this. Riley's still sitting there, her face tight now, like she's trying to figure out how to spin this in her head, and Spencer's looking at the stage like he's seeing Micah for the first time. Good. Let them see him. Let them see what he's made of, what I've always known was there. The principal steps back to the mic, starting to talk about what valedictorian means, but I'm not listening. I'm watching my boy, standing tall, his plaque gleaming under the lights, and I'm thinking about how he got here. Through late nights, through doubts, through words that tried to break him. I'm thinking about how I've tried to be there, to show him he's enough, even when I wasn't sure I was. And right now, with the crowd cheering and Nora's voice calling his name, I know he feels it too. That he's not second place. Not to me. Not to anyone who matters. The moment feels too quiet despite the noise, too heavy with everything it means, and I'm holding on to it, knowing it's one we'll carry forever. The auditorium at Crest Hill High is still electric with the news of Micah's valedictorian win, but as he steps up to the microphone, plaque in hand, the room falls into a hush that feels almost sacred. I'm standing, 6 rows back, my hands stinging from clapping, my heart so full it's hard to breathe. But there's this edge of anticipation too, because I know my boy's about to say something, and after everything tonight, Riley's cruel words, Spencer's laugh, Micah's quiet strength, I'm not sure what's coming. Nora's beside me, her daisy tucked behind her ear, her eyes wide as she watches her brother, and I can feel the weight of every parent's gaze shifting to him, waiting. Micah doesn't unfold a speech, doesn't pull out a crumpled paper like some kids might. He just stands there, his blazer sharp under the stage lights, and when he speaks, his voice is steady, raw, like he's been holding these words for years. My whole life, people said I'd always be second best. He starts, and my stomach twists because I know who he's talking about, know the sting of those words from across the aisle. That I didn't have it in me. That I was like my dad, quiet, unimportant. The room goes so still I can hear my own heartbeat, and I'm frozen, caught between pride and pain, because he's laying it all bare, not just for me, but for everyone. Nora shifts closer, her small hand brushing mine, and I want to look at her, to reassure her, but I can't tear my eyes off Micah. He's not looking at Riley or Spencer. I glance their way and see her face drained of color, her drink forgotten, while Spencer's staring straight ahead, his smirk gone. Micah's words hit like a hammer, and I'm proud, so proud. But there's this ache too, because I know what it costs him to say this, to call out the doubts that have dogged him. He pauses, letting the silence settle, then keeps going. But my dad taught me something better. That real strength doesn't need to shout. That's showing up, every day, even when people doubt you. That's power. My throat tightens, and I'm blinking hard because I didn't expect this. Not him standing up there, turning my quiet lessons into something so big, so true. I think about all the nights we spent together, him puzzling over homework, me telling him to keep going, to be kind even when it hurt. I thought I was just getting him through, but now I see it meant more, built something in him that no one can take away. The auditorium's quiet, so quiet I hear someone breathing heavily a few rows back, and I know everyone's feeling it, the weight of what he's saying. Micah's eyes find mine, just for a second, and there's a question in them, like he's checking if this is okay, if I'm with him. I nod, small but firm, hoping he sees everything I feel: pride, love, gratitude that he's mine. He keeps going, his voice stronger now. So tonight, I'm proud to say, I'm valedictorian. And I'm proud to be just like my father. The words land like a thunderclap, and I'm swallowing hard, trying to keep it together because my boy just turned everything around, took their insults and made them his strength. Riley's hands are folded tight in her lap now, her face unreadable, and Spencer's not moving, like he's finally realized he's out of his depth. I want to cheer, to shout that he's right, that he's more than they'll ever understand, but I just stand there, clapping softly as a few others join in, the sound building slow but steady. Nora's tugging at my sleeve, whispering that Micah's talking about me, and I nod, my voice thick when I tell her he's saying what's true. I think about all the times I doubted myself, wondered if I was enough for him, if my quiet way of doing things, showing up, staying steady, was too small. But hearing him now, seeing him stand tall, I know it wasn't small to him. It was everything. The applause grows, not a roar yet but real, and I'm caught up in it, and the way Micah's words have shifted something in the room, in me. I look at him, still at the mic, his plaque gleaming, and I see the kid who used to fall asleep on my shoulder, the teenager who'd come home quiet after a weekend at his mom's, the young man who's just claimed his place in a way I never could have. I think about Riley's words earlier, calling him second place, dismissing him like he didn't matter, and I hope she's hearing this, hope it's sinking in that she was wrong, that he's so much more than her jabs. Spencer's silence says he knows it too, and I'm glad, because this moment belongs to Micah, to us, not them. The principal steps forward, ready to move things along, but I'm still stuck on what Micah said, replaying it in my head, feeling it settle into me like a truth I didn't know I needed. Nora's smiling now, clapping with everyone else, and I put a hand on her shoulder, steadying myself as much as her. Micah steps back from the mic, his face calm but fierce, like he said what he needed to, and he's done carrying their doubts. I want to go to him, to tell him he's everything I ever hoped he'd be, but he's still up there. And I'm here, 6 rows back, clapping with a room full of people who don't know the half of what this means. The moment feels fragile, like it could slip away if I don't hold on to it, but it's also solid, something we'll carry forward, something that proves we're more than what anyone says. The applause keeps going, and I'm part of it, my hands moving, my heart full, knowing my boy just spoke a truth that's bigger than this night, bigger than all of us. The auditorium at Crest Hill High is still vibrating with the echo of Micah's words, his voice calling me his strength, his pride, and I'm standing here, 6 rows back, my hands trembling from clapping, my chest so tight I can barely breathe. The applause starts slow, like people are still digesting what he said, then it builds, rolling through the room like thunder, a standing ovation that feels like it's lifting us all. Nora's on her feet beside me, jumping and clapping wildly, her daisy slipping from behind her ear, and I'm grinning, blinking hard to keep the tears back because my boy just turned this night around, turned everything around. All the years I've doubted myself, wondered if I was enough for him, if my quiet way of showing up, fixing breakfast, helping with homework, listening when he needed me, mattered enough, they're falling away now, replaced by this moment where he stood up and said I'm the one he's proud to be like. I glance across the aisle, and Riley's sitting there, her face stiff, her hands folded in her lap like she's trying to hold herself together. Spencer's not laughing anymore, his arm limp on her chair, and I hope they're feeling it. Every word Micah threw back at them after they called him second place, after they tried to make him small. But I don't linger on them, because this isn't about them, it's about my son, who's walking off the stage now, his plaque gleaming under the lights, his step steady like he shed a weight he's carried too long. The crowd's still clapping, some people even cheering, and I'm caught up in it, my hands moving, my heart so full it hurts. Nora's voice cuts through, asking if Micah meant all that about me, and I nod, my voice thick when I tell her he did, that he's stronger than anyone knows. I think about all the times I've tried to be there for him, bandaging scraped knees, staying up late to talk about his dreams, teaching him to keep going even when it's hard. I thought I was just doing what dads do, but hearing him tonight, I see it was more. It was the foundation he built this moment on. The principal's back at the mic, moving things along, but I'm barely listening, my eyes locked on Micah as he heads toward us, weaving through the rows of kids. He's not smiling, not yet, but there's a calm in his face, like he said what he needed to, and he's okay now. I want to meet him halfway, to wrap him up and tell him he's everything, but I stay put, letting him come to me, knowing he needs this moment to be his. The applause starts to fade, people settling back into their seats, but I'm still standing, Nora tugging at my hand, asking if we can go hug him. I tell her soon, my voice steady even though I'm shaking inside, because I'm not just proud, I'm humbled, floored that my boy sees me the way he does. Micah reaches us, his plaque tucked under his arm, and he doesn't say anything at first, just steps close and wraps me in a hug, his head against my shoulder like he's a kid again. I hug him back, tight, feeling the strength in him, the weight of everything he's carried tonight. Did I go too far? He whispers, so quiet I almost miss it, and my throat closes up because he's worried about me, even now. No, I say, my voice rough. You didn't go far enough. He pulls back, his eyes searching mine, and I see a flicker of a smile, like he knows I mean it, knows I'm with him. Nora throws her arms around his waist, nearly knocking him over, and he laughs, a real laugh, soft but true, and it's the best sound I've heard all night. I think about what he said up there, about strength not needing to shout, and I realize he's teaching me now, showing me what it looks like to stand up and claim your place without tearing anyone else down. I glance at Riley again, just for a second, and she's looking our way, her face unreadable, like she's trying to figure out what just happened. Spencer's staring at his phone, like he's checked out, and I'm glad, because they don't get to be part of this, not after what they did. The auditorium's settling now, the next award being announced, but I'm still caught in this bubble with my kids, this moment where we're enough, where we're more than enough. I put a hand on Micah's shoulder, tell him I'm proud, and he nods, his eyes bright but steady, like he's already moving past tonight, already thinking about what's next. I think about all the years we've had, the late nights, the quiet talks, the times I wondered if I was doing it right. And I know now that I was, because he's standing here, strong and sure, because of it. Nora's chattering now, asking Micah about his plaque, and he shows it to her, letting her trace the letters with her finger. I watch them, my heart settling, and I realize this is what matters, the three of us, together, no matter what anyone says. The principal's voice drones on, the crowd clapping for someone else, but I'm not part of it anymore. I'm here, with my kids, holding on to this victory, this truth that Micah spoke for all of us. I think about what he asked. Did he go too far? And I know he didn't, because he said what needed saying, broke something open that's been closed too long. I'm proud, but more than that, I'm grateful, because he's shown me who I am through his eyes, and it's more than I ever thought I could be. The moment feels complete, like a chapter closing, and I'm ready for whatever comes next, knowing we'll face it together, stronger than ever. The car hums along the dark road away from Crest Hill High, the auditorium's bright lights and heavy emotions fading behind us, and I'm gripping the steering wheel, feeling a calm settle over me like the quiet after a storm. Mike is in the passenger seat, his valedictorian plaque resting on his knees, his fingers tracing the sealed envelope that came with it, a scholarship letter he hasn't opened yet. Nora's in the back, humming to herself, her daisy now tucked into her hair again, her voice soft and content. The night's been big, bigger than I could have imagined, with Micah's speech still ringing in my ears, his words about strength, about being like me, about proving them wrong without shouting. Riley's cruel jab, calling him second place, feels distant now, like it can't touch us anymore. Not after what he did up there. I'm proud, so proud, but there's this quiet weight too. I need to let this moment be what it is without pushing it. I glance at Micah, his face lit by the passing streetlights, and he's calm, not smiling but not tense either, like he's found some kind of peace. I want to ask him about the envelope, about what's next, but I don't. He'll open it when he's ready, and I've learned by now to trust his timing. The road stretches out, familiar and steady, and I'm thinking about how far we've come, not just tonight, but over the years, through the divorce, the weekends when he'd come home quiet from his mom's, the times I wondered if I was enough. His speech changed something, made me see that that my showing up, my being there, built something real in him. Nora's humming shifts to a question about whether Micah gets to wear a special hat for being valedictorian, and I chuckle, telling her he might, that we'll find out soon. Micah snorts, a small sound, but it's enough to make me relax a little more, to feel like we're us again, not just the weight of the night. I'm driving slower than usual, not in a hurry to get home, because this moment, the three of us, together, whole, feels like something I need to hold on to. Then Micah speaks, his voice low, breaking the silence. I heard her, Dad. I heard what she said. My hands tighten on the wheel, and I nod, keeping my eyes on the road because I know he's talking about Riley, about her calling him second place, about Spencer's laugh. I've been waiting for this, knowing it was coming, but it still hits hard, because I wanted to shield him from that pain. I know, I say, my voice steady even though my chest aches. He's quiet for a moment, then keeps going. I used to think she was right about you, that maybe you weren't strong. The words sting, but I don't flinch, because I know he's working through something, and I need to let him. But I get it now, he says, his voice softer. You were always just steady. I nearly have to pull over. My throat's so tight I can't speak right away. I nod again, swallowing hard, and manage a quiet. I tried to be. He doesn't say anything else, just looks out the window, his fingers still on the envelope, and I'm overwhelmed, not just by pride but by gratitude, because he sees me, really sees me, in a way I never thought he would. I think about all the times I stayed calm when I wanted to yell, stayed kind when it would have been easier to be bitter, after the divorce, after Riley's jabs, after years of feeling like I had to prove myself. I did it for him, for Nora, but I never knew how much it mattered until now. The road curves, and I'm remembering nights we spent together, him studying while I made dinner, us laughing over some dumb movie, me telling him he was enough even when he doubted it. Those moments felt small then, but they're huge now, the bricks that build him into the kid who could stand up tonight and speak his truth. Nora's humming starts up again, and I glance in the rearview mirror, see her playing with her seatbelt, her eyes heavy but happy. I'm glad she's here, glad she saw her brother shine, because I want her to know what's possible, what strength looks like. Micah shifts, the envelope crinkling under his fingers, and I wonder what's in it, what it means for him, but I don't ask. This is his moment, his choice, And I'm just here to drive, to listen, to be the steady he talked about. The air in the car feels lighter now, like we've left something behind, not just the auditorium, but the weight of Riley's words, the years of wondering if we were enough. I think about what Micah said in his speech, about strength not needing to shout, and I realize he's living it, showing it in the way he's sitting here, calm but sure, ready for whatever's next. We're almost home, the streetlights giving way to the familiar glow of our neighborhood, and I'm thinking about how this night will stay with us, how it's changed something in me too. I've spent so long trying to be what he needs, worrying I was falling short, but tonight, he showed me I wasn't, that my quiet way of loving him was exactly what he needed. Nora yawns, her humming fading, and I smile, knowing she'll be asleep before we pull into the driveway. Mike is still quiet, but it's not heavy anymore. It's the kind of silence that feels complete, like we've said what matters and the rest can wait. I turn onto our street, the house coming into view, and I'm not ready for the night to end, not ready to let go of this feeling. But I know it's not ending, not really. It's just settling into us, becoming part of who we are. Micah, Nora, me, together, steady, stronger than any words that tried to break us. The living room is quiet now, the kind of calm that feels earned after a night like the one we've had, and I'm sitting on the couch, watching Micah at the kitchen table, the sealed envelope from Crest Hill high in front of him. Nora's upstairs, finally asleep after begging to stay up and hear more about her brother's big win, her daisy left on the counter like a reminder of the night. The house smells faintly of the pizza we grabbed on the way home, the box still open on the counter, and I'm leaning back, my tie loosened, feeling the weight of everything settle into something softer, something real. Micah's valedictorian plaque is propped against a chair, catching the light from the lamp, and I'm still reeling from his speech, from the way he stood up and called me his strength, his pride, turning Riley's cruel words, second place, into dust. I'm proud, so proud, but there's this need to let him take the lead now, to let him decide what comes next. He's been quiet since the car ride, not distant but thoughtful, like he's piecing something together, and I'm okay with that. Okay with sitting here, waiting, being the steady he said I am. The envelope's been on his mind, I can tell, his fingers keep brushing it, not opening it yet, just feeling its weight. I think about asking, about nudging him to see what's inside, but I don't. This is his moment, his victory, and I've learned over the years that sometimes the best thing I can do is give him space to find his way. I'm thinking about the night, about how far he's come, not just the grades or the plaque, but the strength it took to stand up there after hearing his mom tear him down, to speak his truth without bitterness. I remember the times he'd come home from her place, his shoulders slumped, his voice low as he told me about some jabs she'd made, about him, about me, about how we weren't enough. I'd listen, tell him she was wrong, that he was more than she could see, but I never knew if it sank in until tonight, until he stood at that mic and showed the world who he is. The memory of his words, about strength not needing to shout, makes my chest ache, because he's taken what I tried to teach him and made it his own, made it bigger than I ever could. I glance at him now, his head bent slightly, his fingers still on the envelope, and I'm struck by how much he's grown, not just tonight but over the years, through late-night study sessions, through the divorce, through all the times I wondered if I was doing enough. The clock ticks softly, the only sound besides the faint hum of the fridge, and I'm thinking about the moments that built this, teaching him to ride a bike, staying up to figure out algebra, hugging him when he thought he'd failed. They felt small then, but they're everything now, the foundation of the kid sitting there, ready to open that envelope when he's good and ready. He looks up, catches my eye, and there's a question in his gaze, like he's checking if I'm still here, still with him. I nod, small but sure, and he gives a half smile, the kind that says he's okay, that we're okay. Then he picks up the envelope, turns it over, and slides his finger under the flap, tearing it open with a slow, deliberate rip. I sit up a little, not pushing, just watching as he pulls out a letter, unfolds it, and reads. His face doesn't change at first, but then his eyes widen, just a fraction, and I know it's big, whatever it is. He reads it again, slower, then hands it to me without a word. I take it, my hand steady even though my heart's racing, and I scan the words, valedictorian, Cowridge University, full scholarship. My breath catches, and I look at him, seeing the quiet pride in his eyes, the kind that doesn't need to shout. This is yours, I say, my voice rough, and he shakes his head, his voice soft but firm. I want you to hold on to it, he says, because I wouldn't have gotten it without watching you stay kind, even when it would have been easier to yell. I'm floored, my throat's so tight I can't speak, because he's giving me this, giving us this moment, and it's more than I ever thought I'd have. I fold the letter carefully like it's something sacred and walk to the drawer by the bookshelf, where I keep the photo of us at his 6th grade science fair, the one Riley didn't show up for. I slide the letter in beside it, knowing it belongs there, with the memories that matter. I turn back, and he's watching me, his face calm but sure, like he said what he needed to, and he's ready for what's next. We don't talk after that, just sit in the quiet, not awkward but complete, the kind of silence that says everything without words. I'm thinking about that science fair, about how he beamed when I showed up, about all the times I tried to be there, to make up for the ones who weren't. I used to worry it wasn't enough, but tonight, with his letter in that drawer and his words in my heart, I know it was. The room feels warm, the pizza box forgotten, and I'm grateful for this, for him, for Nora, for the life we've built despite everything. I glance at Micah again, and he's leaning back now, his hands behind his head, looking at the ceiling like he's seeing something I can't. I don't ask what, because I know he'll tell me when he's ready, and for now, this is enough. Us, here, whole, stronger than any words that tried to break us. The night's settling into us, becoming part of who we are, and I'm ready for whatever comes next, knowing we'll face it together, steady as ever. It's been a week since the night at Crest Hill High, and I'm sitting in the living room, the late afternoon sun filtering through the blinds, casting soft stripes across the couch. Mike is on the floor with Nora, a math worksheet spread out between them, his voice patient as he explains fractions in a way that makes her giggle. The valedictorian plaque is on the bookshelf now, next to the photo from his 6th grade science fair, and the scholarship letters still in the drawer, safe where I put it after he asked me to keep it. That night feels both distant and sharp, like a memory that's already part of us. Micah's speech, his quiet strength, the way he turned Riley's cruel words about being second place into something powerful. I'm still proud, still carrying his voice in my head, the way he said he's proud to be like me, steady and kind. But today, there's a new calm in the house, a lightness that wasn't there before, like we've stepped into a different story, one we're writing ourselves. I'm flipping through a magazine, not really reading, just listening to my kids, Nora's laughter, Micah's gentle corrections, and it hits me how full this moment feels, how right. Then my phone buzzes on the coffee table, a message lighting up the screen, and I glance at it, expecting a bill reminder or a work email. It's from Riley. My stomach tightens, but I open it, curious despite myself. Micah's speech surprised me, it says. He's grown up. That's it, no apology, no mention of what she said, just those 2 sentences, vague and careful, like she's testing the water. I stare at it, my thumb hovering over the keyboard, but I don't reply. I don't know what I'd say, and honestly, I don't think she deserves an answer. She wasn't there for him, not the way he needed, and her words that night, calling him second place, letting Spencer laugh, cut deeper than she'll ever admit. I set the phone down, face down, and lean back, letting the sound of Micah and Nora fill the room again. I'm thinking about how she used to be, back when we were married, sharp when she felt cornered, quick to point out what I lacked, always chasing something bigger, better. Spencer was her answer to that, with his money and his loud confidence, but he doesn't know Micah, doesn't know the kid who stayed up late mastering equations, who hugged me when I felt like I was failing. I do. I've always known him, and that night, when he stood up and spoke his truth, he showed me he knows it too. I'm not angry, not anymore. Her message doesn't have that power over me. It's just a note from someone who's not part of this anymore, someone who looked back too late. I glance at Micah, his head bent over the worksheet, his pencil circling a number as Nora claps, proud of herself. He's relaxed, content, like the weight of that night is lifted, and I'm grateful, because he deserves this, deserves to laugh, to be a kid, to not carry her doubts. I think about what he said in the car, about how he used to think she was right about me, about my quiet ways being weak, and how he sees it differently now, sees the strength in being steady. It's humbling, knowing he's learned that from me, but more than that, it's freeing, because it means we're past her shadow, past the need to prove anything to her. Nora's asking for a snack now, and Micah stands, offering to grab something from the kitchen, his voice light. I watch him go, thinking about all the moments that brought us here, the late nights helping with homework, the mornings making pancakes, the quiet talks when he needed to know he was enough. I used to worry I wasn't doing it right, that my way, showing up, staying kind, was too small compared to what Riley wanted, what Spencer offered. But sitting here, watching my kids, I know it wasn't small. It was everything. The foundation that let Micah stand up that night and claim his place, Let him write this story we're living now. The sun's dipping lower, the room glowing gold, and I'm struck by how different this feels from a week ago, from the tension of the auditorium, the sting of Riley's words, the fear that Micah might believe them. That's gone now, replaced by this house, this laughter, this certainty that we're more than enough. I think about the race we've been running, not the one Riley tried to define, with her talk of winners and losers, but our own, the one where we show up for each other, where we build something real. We've won it, I realize, not because we beat anyone, but because we're here, together, whole. Micah comes back with a bag of crackers, tossing it to Nora with a grin, and she catches it, giggling as she tears it open. He sits back down, picking up the pencil, and I'm watching them, my heart full, knowing this is what matters, these small moments, these quiet victories. Riley's message is still on my phone, but it's irrelevant now, a footnote in a story that's moved on. She looked back, sure, but we're not waiting for her, not anymore. The worksheet's almost done, and Nora's starting to yawn, her head leaning against Micah's arm. He doesn't pull away, just keeps explaining, his voice steady, and I'm smiling, because this is us, Micah, Nora, me, running our race, winning it every day we choose to be here, to be kind, to be enough. The room's quieting as the sun sets, and I'm content, knowing we're not second place, never were, because we've been writing our own ending all along, and it's better than anything I could have dreamed.